Hi, Kris LeSueur. Welcome to episode 3 of the Preferred Experience podcast. I'm with Andrew Lucero, the Spartan SGX coach for CrossFit Preferred, and we're going to talk about Spartan Racing. We thought we'd get into that this week since we have a race this Saturday. Yep, we're excited about it. It'll be a lot of fun. So before we get started, though, tell us a little bit about yourself. A lot of times we're just in the gym and you coach and we don't get to talk a whole lot. So.
Sure. Me personally, so I've lived in Arizona since 2001. So I grew up like going to high school here. I am married. My wife and I have been together for a little over 6 years now. We have a 3-year-old boy and then a daughter who will turn 2 next month. So we're going through that fun toddler process.
No sleep stage.
Yeah, I mean, interrupted sleep and, dealing with a lot of, kind of like potty training and like that, massive fits for no reason, that whole fun stage.
Yep. Know exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
And then you're going to school right now too.
Correct. Yep.
What are you studying?
So I am in my master's degree program at Arizona State for the exercise and wellness program with a focus on fitness and conditioning. So kind of fitting that I coach here, but so we do a lot in terms of like fitness evaluations and like stuff like VO2 testing and like analyzing like heart rates and EKG, that kind of thing to like monitor health but performance measures as well. So I'm probably about halfway through my program right now, so I have another year and a half left until I'm graduated.
Awesome. He has all these credentials from all these things he's learned through school and then different courses he's taken.
Yeah.
And
knowledge is power.
Yep, he keeps learning more and more.
I love it.
It's a fun person to be around.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. We all learn a lot from him.
I try.
So before we get started on some of the Spartan stuff, what is a Spartan race? I think a lot of people get like super intimidated by them, and they're like, "Oh, I could never do that."
Right. Yeah.
But I have to tell people that I'm not like some advanced physical person. Like I've had to like get better at it all the time. Like, just have to work at it.
Yeah, and it can be intimidating because if like you don't know what to expect, it could I think a lot of times it's easy for us to assume the worst or assume like it's impossible because it's something that we never tried. But essentially a Spartan race is it's an obstacle course race that includes trail running and then a myriad of different obstacles. So you're doing things like climbing over walls, crawling under barbed wire, carrying sandbags, buckets, obstacles that have grip strength, things such as like scaling across monkey bars or scaling across like a wall that's got rock climbing grips without your feet touching the ground.
That one got me in the last race.
Yeah.
I owed some burpees on that one.
Yeah, so it's just these different obstacles that you see in the Spartan race that it tests your grit, it tests your stamina, endurance, but there's some aspects that test your strength, and it's kind of it's endurance based, but it's a well-rounded test of fitness to to go through a Spartan race.
Yep. I think what we do here in the gym really prepares us for any of the obstacles, really.
Right.
We work so much with grip, even with the barbell or with pull-ups, and I think it really prepares us for some of those obstacles, and then we build a lot of strength too in here. If you go to Andrew's classes, as Spartan SGX classes, currently on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings. Weekday ones are at 7 at night.
Right.
If you go to those, you'll get some more Spartan specific training.
Right.
But overall, the fitness we get in the gym in the CrossFit classes really pays off too.
Yeah. So CrossFit in and of itself does help you in terms of like the preparation aspect of doing something like a Spartan race. Where we bridge the gap though is with the SGX class. So we will practice some of the actual obstacles that you will see in the Spartan race, and do things that translate very well in terms of what you need to be prepared for those obstacles. So we don't necessarily have walls to jump over, but we practice the technique. We go over skills and things, how to be dynamic and being able to push off and get to the top of a pull-up bar, or lots of grip strength, farmer carry, sandbag carry type of exercises, because getting used to how your body feels when doing those things weighted, you get to the race and you see those implements in the race, and it's just you're prepared because you've been doing those for our classes. So
what's been your hardest thing that you've had to do in a Spartan race?
Hardest
where
thing?
Where do you feel like you've excelled at it, and where do you think you could work on it more?
So that's a good question.
We can come back to it too.
Yeah.
I know for me.
Yeah, go for it.
If you want to think about it a little bit, I think grip strength has been surprisingly a harder thing for me, but I feel like it's been getting better each race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been. We actually went out to California back in October, and we did the Spartan Ultra Beast, and there was this one obstacle called the Tyrolean Traverse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a rope that goes, I don't know how far
it goes horizontally. I don't know,
probably at least 50 feet or more.
Probably something like that.
Yeah. And so I'm on it and I'm going across, and it's very grip intensive. It's a rope, and you gotta kind of lock your legs over the rope on the top, so you have your legs over it, and it's rubbing on my ankle here, and it hits my shoe, and my shoe flips off. You weren't there for that. And Andrea was, and so was Grant. My shoe flies off, and I almost fall off the rope, and really had to rely on that grip and my legs, and kind of got a little bit of a rope burn as I went across, because I didn't have my sock or my shoe like really helping me. But those have been kind of tough obstacles. And then last year on the grip one that you were talking about a little earlier, they instead of, it's like there's handholds in it, and like rock climbing wall holds. Yep. And it kind of is at an angle. I think it's like this angle.
Right.
And so this year it became plastic, or last year.
So they changed the material that they made it with. So it used to be like this wood surface.
Yeah, it was just like.
So like if you put your feet up on it, like if you wear shoes with like trail running tread on on your traction, it grips the wall pretty well. But I mean, you still have to grip those handholds or whatever you're grabbing onto. But it's like this plasticky material that they started making the same obstacle with, and it almost feels like it's a little bit like even more angled up.
Yeah, it felt slick.
So it's really slippery. So you have to really be able to maneuver your body or pull your body into the wall to the idea is to stay close so that you're not shifting your weight too far away, because that's just going to be more grip intensive and make it harder to do that obstacle.
Yeah, it was a good one. Why should somebody do a Spartan race?
That's a great question.
What got you into it? Like, I think that's kind of what got you going on fitness.
So my story, like my first Spartan. So my first Spartan race. So this was back in like 2013. So this was, a while ago. 7 years ago. So at that time, I was still in my bachelor's degree at ASU for exercise and wellness, and so I was looking to join a student organization to like be more involved with like the other students that were doing the same program that I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined like the exercise and wellness organization, and one of the activities that they had to, get people together was the Spartan Race.
Yeah.
So whoever was at the head of it at the time, he talked me into it, and so I committed to it just because I wanted to be more involved with with the students, and try something new.
Yeah.
And
I feel like when you do it, not to cut you off, I feel like when you do these races, that especially with a group, it just like brings you all together.
Yeah, it's something. It's
like instant friends.
Yeah, and especially doing it your first time when you don't know what to expect, and you're with people that have, or with people that are in a similar situation than you are. It kind of makes it easier to brunt through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of my experience at first, and like my first race, like I felt so beat up from it. Like it was, it took a toll on me. I wasn't training the way I'm training now, like 7 years ago. So I was feeling pretty sore. I was feeling pretty achy and everything. But it was just kind of like, I wonder if I could do better if I trained a little bit differently. And so that's what just kept me coming back, and I just, it's been doing it ever since.
Yep, that's what got me going too. I've been doing races for like 18 years now.
Yeah.
I did my first marathon back in 2002, and what you said, I bet I could do better.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do better. That's what's kept me going on these races.
Yeah.
And Spartan has become like my race of choice. It's just, it goes so well with CrossFit.
It does.
And then I love running. I love doing trail running, being out there.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. They did add, there are people that won't do a Spartan race. I won't name any names in our gym.
Oh.
They won't do a Spartan race because there's mud.
Oh.
And that is such a minute part of the race. It's like barely any part of it.
Yeah.
But for those that can't handle the mud, we'll work on that. But to get you started, in June, they call it the Stadium Race. And it's in State Farm Stadium where the Cardinals play.
Right.
And it is such a fun race, and it's really more CrossFit than anything.
There's a lot of So for those that are looking ahead to the race at State Farm Stadium, there's the Spartan elements that you see in every race, where like you're carrying sandbags or buckets, or climbing a rope, or whatnot. But to make it more stadium friendly, since you're not seeing some of those obstacles out like you would on the course, they have a few obstacles that are more repetition based. So doing things like hand release push-ups, or one of their sponsors the past few years has been Assault Fitness, so they have the assault bikes out there,
box jumps,
and slam balls, and
the Ram, which
the
is
Spartan Ram. Yeah,
that was like
right.
thrusters, if I remember right with that one.
So the Spartan Ram, it's essentially a Spartan Ram burpee. So that's right. So you go down into so for those that don't know what a Spartan Ram is, it's like this foam roller looking thing where it actually has holes on the side so you can grip it, but it's weighted. And so at the race, the guys use one that's 55 pounds and the girls use one that's 33 pounds. And so what you do is you put this ram, this foam roller looking thing, on the ground, and you burpee, chest hits the ram, and you come back up, and then you pull the ram up and just straight overhead.
So kind of a clean and jerk, sort of.
Almost like a snatch. Yeah. I guess you could clean and jerk it if you wanted to.
We saw people doing it a lot of
Yeah,
times.
Basically start from the ground, finish overhead, fully
ground
extended.
overhead.
Yeah, ground overhead.
Yeah, so that was good. So what else? So I think doing a Spartan race, like reasons why you'd want to do a Spartan race, I do think it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun to go do it.
And it's so like it's such a nice change from like the and that's one of the nice things about just getting out on the trail. Sometimes it's just a nice breath of fresh air, being outside the gym and using your fitness outside the gym, and like being able to implement what you've done in your training to an event like a Spartan race. It kind of almost validates what you're doing for your training too. Mm-hmm. And you kind of think about like how well you would have done versus, at different points based on where you're at in terms of your fitness level, and it's a good benchmark. Essentially, it's a good measure of like how far you've come along, or where you're starting at now and want to progress over time.
For sure. One thing I've noticed, and I've seen it happen with so many people here in the gym, is one person that's on my mind is Maria. We've seen her grow so much over the last year or two, doing Spartan races, and she did a beast in California.
Yeah, she did the beast out in SoCal when we were out there in October.
Yep, we had, how many people did we have at that? Like over 10, I think.
Around 10, yeah.
In the gym.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. We rented a cabin and we just had a great weekend.
It was so fun.
It was really fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Really brings everyone together.
Yeah.
So it was fun to do that. But Maria, after doing the beast, she decided she's going to do a marathon. And so she'd never done a marathon, and she just completed her first marathon this last week.
Full marathon on Saturday.
Yep.
For the Phoenix Marathon.
Yep. So I think as you do these races, it pushes you out of your comfort zone, and you think to yourself, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What can I do next?
Right.
And so Maria has just been a great example of that.
For sure.
Where she's like, okay, what's next? So I'm wondering, Maria, is the Spartan Ultra Beast next? Maybe it's too soon to ask
we've talked about that with her a little bit. Yeah. No, she's a great example of that, and she was back at the gym yesterday. She did the marathon on Saturday, and she was back in here training yesterday.
She's an awesome athlete. Yeah. Proud of you.
Yeah.
And everyone else. She's just one that came to mind because she did that marathon this last weekend.
Yeah. No.
So, what else do we want to go over today? So, let's see. We went over that. So why don't we go into how to taper for this weekend's race?
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's going to be dependent on ultimately what you're looking to get out of this race. So there's a lot of us that are competing in what's called the age group heat. So it's a more competitive heat where like people, like you're starting alongside people in your age group who are looking to do like their absolute best in terms of like finishing as fast as possible. So it's more of a performance measure, where there's going to be some out there that are just looking to improve themselves, and that's totally fine too. And there's going to be some that are just looking to finish, and that's great. Kind of getting that first time experience, or maybe it's your second or third,
or you're doing
whatever.
It with the group,
or you just want to stick with the team and help people out and whatnot, and whatever you're looking to get out of, I think is going to ultimately like lead to how you're gonna taper for the race. But for those that are like looking to do their best, like to maximize their performance on Saturday, in terms of like cutting back the intensity, like that's something that you should probably start doing now, with it being Tuesday and with the race coming up on Saturday. Because what you don't want to do is attack like the CrossFit workouts, essentially full bore on Wednesday, and maybe your legs are sore, or you just feel like you got a good workout, but is it going to be a detriment to being able to feel at your best on Saturday? You
don't want to let the squats you do on Monday destroy you on Saturday.
Right. So. Yeah. Because so the problem with like let's say you like attack all the workouts like with a strong intensity just leading up to the race. Like if you're sore, like running a 10K on the trails, like your legs are going to feel heavy. Mm-hmm. And you want to feel fresh. You want to feel unrestricted in your ability to move or reach or like maneuver your body however you want, because there's a lot of running, but I mean, you need to move your hips dynamically, like crawling underneath the barbed wire or swinging your leg over the top of the wall to get over, or like feeling stable in like the overhead grip obstacles like the monkey bars or the twister or the other, like you want to feel fresh. You want to almost feel like antsy to run.
Like, oh man, I got to
like I haven't worked out in a couple of days. I need to get a good race in. So like that's how you should be feeling. So I would say definitely start dialing back the intensity if that's what you're looking to get out of the race. But
I think if you're going to come in the gym too this week, just go lighter. Maybe don't go as hard as you might. Make it more of a training day. Improving your technique.
Look. It's about we're playing the long game essentially. It's not going to benefit you on Saturday if you like attack everything this week full bore like maybe you normally would, just for you to feel pretty weighted down on Saturday.
Whatever you do, don't do Friday's workout at the gym. And
if you're doing
this is not reverse psychology. Really don't do it.
If you're doing the Spartan race on Saturday, I would highly recommend to not do the CrossFit workout on Friday.
Just know that it involves Fran.
Yeah.
And it's even worse.
Yeah. So, but the idea is to feel fresh for the race. So not only are you going to start dialing back the intensity, but you're also going to think about like what you're eating and like how much hydration that you're getting in, because you want sustainable energy for this race. So some of us running a 10K with the obstacles. It's a new format this year with how they've changed the super. So that's kind of one of the biggest changes. Last year, like all the way through last year, a super was traditionally 8 to 10 miles in distance, and it kind of varied on the location. Now they're kind of standardizing all these distances. So now a super is pretty much a 10K. So
Saturdays is a 10K. Sundays is a sprint.
So Sundays is a sprint, which is a 5K. Correct.
And then they haven't, not this weekend, but they have another distance that's the Beast. And that one's going to be a half marathon.
That's essentially a half marathon.
And then the Ultra Beast is still going to be a 50K.
50K.
So there's all these different distances that you can train for. And I think with training for this race, you want to push, for a 10K, you want to push hard.
Yeah. But
maybe not as hard as you would for a sprint.
Right, yeah. So especially if you've been with like the running groups and like kind of doing different intervals based off of like your 1 mile time, whether you go faster than your 1 mile time or slower than your 1 mile time. It's kind of knowing how to rev up your engine at different parts of the race. So like you'll want to start strong, but you don't want to go so hard so fast that like you feel like you're dragging to the finish line. You want to feel like you have enough left in the tank towards the end that you can have a strong finish. So kind of getting off track. What was the ultimate question?
I think
there?
That's good. So just how hard you'd go. So for me, for a sprint, I want to be pretty out of breath pretty much the whole time.
Yeah. So you're running at a pretty
not like blow up, but push hard.
Yeah.
If we're thinking zones, which we talk about sometimes at the track
for endurance,
we're talking like zone 3, 4 for a sprint. For a 10K, I think zone 3.
Zone 3, yeah.
For a beast, I think more zone 2. So zone 2, it's maybe not as easy of a conversation as we're having right now, but you're like going pretty good.
You're still breathing heavy, and it all depends on the venue too. So if there's a lot more climbing in terms of like elevation, that may play a factor into it. But yeah, so ultimately, I think the faster runners are going to finish somewhere like, so for example, the last time we had the super here, or 2 years ago when I did the super here, it took me about an hour and 45 minutes to finish it. And if I can kind of gauge that now that it's formatted more in a 10K, I'm kind of expecting to be somewhere like an hour 20, an hour 30, something like that. And I might be off a little bit, but I would expect to be somewhere around there. I wouldn't expect to be an hour 45 again.
Yeah.
Since it's a
it's going to be a fast
distance.
race.
But some people, some of our team might be out for an hour 45 or 2 hours, and that might be their best time, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But it's all kind of relative in terms of like what your capacity is and how much you can, be able to sustain for it.
I think you just want to do your best.
And
don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just know that you're pushing yourself your best.
And that's ultimately what it comes down to. I mean, you want to feel prepared, and you want to feel like you're, you do well with the race, but you don't want to be so laser focused on one aspect that you don't have fun. You want to have fun and enjoy it, and
don't make it a stress. Make it fun.
Yeah, and enjoy being out there and challenging yourself in a different way, and doing a Spartan race.
Cool. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to just touch on too.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish up. As you're going, so as you eat Friday night, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I got to eat tons of carbs.
Yeah.
I would just eat like you'd normally do for the gym. Eat a good balanced meal.
Yeah.
You don't have to overeat. You don't need like this huge bowl of pasta. I used to do that.
Yeah.
And I'd show up to the race like when I was doing triathlon and Ironman, and I felt like my stomach was out way more than normal. I just felt nasty.
You don't want to be like Michael Scott in The Office when he eats right before.
Yeah. So don't do that.
I mean, but I would highly recommend don't be so far out of range in terms of like carb load. Like when you carb load, it's not just pounding down the carbs just for the sake of eating carbs. It's eating a little bit more in terms of like your carbohydrate intake, just so you have enough energy to perform your best, because that's going to be your main energy source, especially for an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there. Like the time you're going to be, going out there, you want to be able to utilize your energy to, the best of your ability. So
we can do another podcast on this sometime, but your body uses different energy stores depending on the intensity, so this one's going to be more carbohydrate intensive.
Right. So. Yeah. So, so be smart about it. Don't just pound the carbs down just to pound them down, but have a well-rounded meal so you're getting your nutrients in. And then the day of the race, I would also say I guess it depends on what time you run. If you're running first thing in the morning, I might keep it on the lighter side in terms of what you normally have for breakfast, but maybe a more carb type of breakfast.
Yeah.
So you have that energy to feel like you're not gonna bonk at some point.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're gonna start in the open heat, which is gonna be later in the morning, you'll have enough time to get like your normal kind of breakfast in, but just again have enough of a carbohydrate
I could
store in your breakfast so that you have that energy to feel like you can sustain
for sure
that 2 hour-ish range in that race.
So I'll normally eat like 2 hours before a race, and what I like to have is oatmeal. A lot of times I'll have a yogurt, like a protein Greek yogurt type yogurt, and then maybe an egg for some fat, or maybe some nut butter. Because if you get some fat in you too, you're not going to be hungry when the race starts.
Right.
And then the other thing I like to do right before a race, because it's been a couple hours, is I'll have a gel or like some chews or something, just to top off those carbohydrates.
Right.
And then as I go through a race, and if you do it any different, share it.
No, yeah.
But as I go through a race, for this race, I think I might hit a gel around 30 minutes. It's that's sooner than I would do if I was training. But I want to just make sure that I'm not going to bonk.
Right.
So I might get a little bit ahead on those carbs. So 30 minutes in, I'll do it.
Okay.
And I might even hit another one at an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
So like
just to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that to be the reason.
Right. Yeah.
That I go slower.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on like how you're feeling in the morning too, in terms of like what you're able to get for your breakfast. But yeah, like having an energy gel or a goo or something I would say 15 to 30 minutes before you start running.
Yep.
And then like it will probably be nice to have 1 or 2 on hand in the middle of the race that you can take like 30 minutes in or an hour in and kind of feel how you're feeling first before you decide to take it. But it's just enough to kind of get you over the hump so that you can keep pushing at your best.
Cool. And then last thing, visualize yourself doing really well at this race. It really makes a difference.
Right.
Like see yourself finishing, and if you have obstacles you're nervous about, see yourself making yourself, getting yourself through them and doing your best.
Absolutely. Positive mindset.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, and like it helps your confidence too. And the more confident that you feel in yourself, and you're able to, either perform at your best or help those that are around you. Like it just, it's kind of like this positive feedback loop where you're feeling good and you're able to, perform well, and it kind of translates into having a good race. Whether it's just how you're feeling overall, or whether it's on a specific obstacle maybe that you struggle with normally. Like begin with the end in mind, so to speak, right? So like visualize hitting the bell, or visualize what you need to do in order to get through it, or whatever the obstacle is. But
cool. Anything else you want to add? Drink your immunity aid if you're starting to feel sick. Have some immunity aid. It's about It seems like everyone is sick right now.
If the sickness is going around you, it might not be a bad idea.
Yep.
But
good stuff.
and especially if you're racing, this is not the time you want to feel sick right now. So get your vitamins in, get your nutrients in.
Have a great race. Thanks for joining us today. It's been fun. Thanks for being on here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Come to the race, or come to SGX class and get ready for the Spartan Race in June. Or if you're doing a Spartan Race somewhere else, let me know, and I'd be happy to help you however I can.
Cool. And then one last thing. On Friday, they have an open house.
Oh, yep.
So if somebody's never done a Spartan Race, could they go out there and check it out?
Absolutely. So the open house is at the venue on Friday, so the day before the race. It's going to be Friday afternoon, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free, and you're they still want you to register and sign up. So still do that if you're planning on that, and it's easy. You can just go to the event page and just fill out a waiver real quick. But
it's a good time to practice.
You'll be able to get your hands on some of the obstacles that are out there. All of them won't be open, but a good 5, 6, 7 of them will. So it gives you some time to practice how you might perform for those obstacles. I will be one of the coaches out there, so you can come find me, and I can give you some pointers. Like on the race side, it may being at the venue may feel a little bit different in terms of like feeling better prepared for it. So if that's something that you're looking to do just to kind of feel a little bit better about yourself, or feel more confident, or make it easier to visualize yourself completing that obstacle, it's a great thing to come check out, and you kind of get a sneak peek of what you're going to see over the weekend anyway. So definitely recommend it.
Thanks again.
Thanks for
joining us.
having me.
Have a great week and have a great race, and thanks for joining us.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Subscribe to our podcast too. We need subscribers. We're going to keep making it better and better each week. Thanks a lot. We'll see you.